The Mavs were looking to head into the All-Star break on a high note, in this feisty group, led by Dante Exum, knew the assignment and got an A+ tonight. Only 9 healthy players available, 7 finish in double figures. Exum with a season-high 27 points as they shared the load, spread the wealth, played tough D, and continue to take pride in keeping this team afloat. 118-113 is the final. We wrap up win number 30 of the season next here on Mavs Center Court, presented by Legacy Precious Metals. Dana Larson along with Brian Damaris. And Brian, you just got to give this team so much credit. You sweep this back-to-back with such tough circumstances. You go into the break winning 4 of your last 5 games. You got to feel so good about it. It was just what this team needed, just what these fans needed.
Exactly, and I mentioned it in pregame, what the message was from Jason Kidd to this team. These are the games that you were brought into, specifically these players at this time. There's no Kyrie Irving, there's no Klay Thompson. We know all the other injuries that we had coming into this game, but people like Omax Prosper, Brandon Williams, Kessler Edwards, Max Christie continuing to play effective.
Yeah.
Dante Exum, Spencer Dinwiddie. You basically played 8 players, and 7 of them scored in double figures. A complete team effort on both sides of the floor against a desperate Miami team that really wanted to get a win and get their first win in the post-Jimmy Butler era.
Yeah, and you had a guy on the other side, Tyler Hero, going for 40 tonight, and he had the ball in his hands late as they were trying to make this extremely interesting, and the Mavericks got a defensive stop when they needed it most.
Switching everything defensively, playing 1 through 5, and look at Exum hugging on the corner, force a tough shot, stay vertical, not foul. That was absolutely massive. Those long arms, look at that, making it really difficult, making sure there was no chance you were going to foul him on a 3-point shot like what happened.
I was going to say that.
Minutes
right.
earlier.
Right.
And so that was really important defensively. Again, Spoelstra likes to play. Don't want to call a timeout. Just get it going. And that's the beauty of playing small. As you play 1 through 5, you switch everything. And Exum is not just a guy who can get to the bucket, although he was 1 off his career high with 27 points, but he's able to play really long, rangy defense and made sure he was just going to make that shot as tough as possible for someone who had hit 2 threes here in the 4th and was starting to really get hot from deep.
Yeah, I felt like it was redemption for Exum, who had been the culprit on the 4-point play earlier. Maybe a little ticky-tacky, too.
Maybe a little kick-off by
exactly.
there
exactly.
As well.
But Dante Exum was, he knew he had to play good defense there. He had to put his full body, his full length in the way to make that a tough shot for a guy who was going off, was simply cooking. And that was exactly the moment you felt like they had this in the bag. But they had to make runs along the way. They had a nice run to counter in the 3rd quarter, and they had a really important run in the 4th quarter. Ended up being a 12-0 run to finish things off, really, to take control here. And once again, it was everybody involved. And you see Max Christie there with the bucket, with the pass. You see Najee in on the action, and Dante Exum driving, really asserting himself in the paint.
Yeah, Max Christie just playing way above his paper in terms of what he's been asked to do in LA in the early part of his career. Making the key pass, always makes the smart play, finds the open shooter there, got the catch and shoot 3. After Edwards soars and gets a rebound offensively to keep that possession alive, Exum doing what he does to run things on that end. Listen, this game was getting away from the Mavericks in the 4th quarter there. They were down in a deficit with under 5 minutes to play, and that 12-0 run turned everything around. We've seen this team lose a 12-point lead in the Sacramento game just earlier this week in the 4th quarter in clutch time, but they flipped the script against a team where Ware had gotten to 15 points in the first half, only 2 in the second half. That length was held out. They didn't go to him. Hero was going. You knew he was going to be the focal point. They were to clamp down on him and force him to take tough shots or get the ball out of his hands, so you were getting good defensive possessions and then going the other way and making the smart play offensively.
Well, you mentioned that one loss, and that one loss was in overtime by 1 point. They're basically that away from a 5-game win streak here.
And oh, by the way, Philadelphia was a one last-second shot away from getting that. Your two losses were basically, at the buzzer.
And that's pretty much what sent Jason Kidd sort of over the edge after that Sacramento loss, because he sees how hard this group is working, and you want to see the results. But the results have come here in these last couple of games, and no doubt Jason Kidd will be able to get a little more rest over the break with these in the win column. Let's hear from the Mavs head coach now as we head downstairs.
I mean, you had 9 guys available, 7 of them in double figures. What does that say about your team that you had that balance tonight?
Analytics would say that we needed 8 of the 9 to score in double figures if we had any chance. So someone has to score if all 9 are playing. And I thought the group, again, we've said this here of late, the energy and effort, the way to compete, they're going to make mistakes, but no one's pouting. Everybody's playing. I thought Hardy couldn't find the basket, but kept playing, and guys trusted him. And so, big win before the break, and now we can rest, regroup, and get ready for the second half. But we need everybody who can score, and they did tonight.
Have you guys just stayed together as a team during these last 2 weeks?
Yeah, I think it's
that Max Christie, only 6 games into his Mavericks career, he's already the Mav on the mic. He's so confident and comfortable, willing to put that on and wear that all game long. And it looks to me, in watching that, we can tell he's a really even keel guy. He's talked about wanting to play calm, cool, collected. He's a guy that likes to take breaths, do breathing work before the game.
He walked in with a book.
He walked in with a book. That's a great point. We had him on the walk-ins. He was holding a book. I mean, you can just tell he's just really in a good place, and he goes about his business very calm.
The moment's not too big for him, and that's why you're able to hit that key 3 or that key turnaround jumper over Robinson when you need to.
Or the free throws last night.
The free throws last night where he said, I've been there, done that.
Yeah.
And here's the legacy moment of the game right here. So important. He sees Robinson. That's one of the players you want to attack. I talked about that as one of my keys to the game. Find out who you want to attack. He's one of those, and he's not shy. He has that little turnaround right there, and at the dotted line, able to get such a key bucket, 19 points. And oh, by the way, 5 rebounds and 5 assists to go with it. He scored over 15 points in every game as a Maverick, averaging 46% from 3. And that communication, I like him talking on defense. I got this guy, you do that. He is going to be a fan favorite for a long time around here.
It's exciting to see just how much he has in his offensive bag, too. I mean, that spinning jumper in the paint there is not an easy shot. And then we've seen how comfortable he is with the beautiful stroke from long range. He's putting the ball on the floor and driving with it. He's tall, long, he can finish. He's got so much to offer, really, on both ends. You said in the pregame show, this could be the best perimeter defender they have here for quite some time. So we're describing a really well-rounded, complete player who is 22 years old.
Yeah, since you've lost Derrick Jones Jr., you've been looking for that replacement, that guy that you put on the best player. He was on Hero. That's the guy you want on the other guy's best player, and he is that guy. He also makes smart passes. He makes high basketball IQ plays. He goes for that extra pass, goes from good to great looking shot. And I liked how he was kind of giving Spencer a little hard time. Did he bank that in? Like, hey, we know you kind of got away with one there, but that's the fun ribbing. That's the part of the bonding that this team, listen, with everything that's been going on around here, what does a team do? They bunker down together. That brotherhood gets even tighter with the leadership of Kyrie and Klay. And, now Klay's taking Max under his wing and saying, here's how I did it. Here's how I got 4 rings. I want you to be that guy too. That is huge.
Yeah, you could feel it. The circling of the wagons has been happening here this week, big time, and such a credit to the fans who've been here for all of these home games. There has been nothing but a tremendous amount of support for those guys that are on the court. And let's look at the standings, because this tells a great story. And here we are going into the All-Star break, which is way past the halfway point. It is the break, but it is not halfway. There's only 20-some games to go once you get back. 26 games once you get back. So, I mean, it is go time at this point. And the Mavericks reached the 30-win plateau here as they head into the break. There was